Hi, Tanya from Knot Enuff Quilts and Fabric here in Springfield, Tennessee. I've got Wendy Jo, our Featherweight specialist here. She's going to tell me about my mother's Featherweight.
So according to your serial number, your machine was built and assembled in Elizabethport, New Jersey, here in the USA.
Really?
Yeah. And the group of serial numbers was commissioned for October 10th, 1938, and there were about 20,000 of the machines built in that grouping. Your serial number indicates that it's in the middle of that grouping, so probably a couple months after October is when it was physically assembled.
Well, that's cool.
You have a few unique or interesting features included here.
Really? Even as rough as this thing
Even
looks?
though it's rough, the mechanics are working really smoothly. I don't feel any catches in the internal parts. Your faceplate is the later scroll work one, which is one that lots of ladies
pretty.
look for. The thing that makes it unique is having the extra scroll work along this edge.
Cool.
That was a design that was added to the other scroll plate with just this section. So you have it added there.
Okay.
And it's beautiful.
Yeah, I do like that. It's very pretty.
Your bobbin case is a vintage original.
Oh, wow.
Looks pretty well used.
Yeah, it is.
I think somebody has loved this machine throughout the years. So then I went and looked at all of your attachments that you have here. And you have the original attachments that came with the machine directly from Singer. And then somebody along the way has added a couple of extra fun little things there.
Well, that is cool.
So you have all of those parts and pieces.
Okay.
You have a vintage original manual. So treat her gently.
Okay, and so this is a 221 then?
Yes, it is
Okay.
a 221.
Okay, cool.
And
love it. I had no
A
idea.
lot of people get confused by the -1 or -K or dash and then there's nothing.
Right.
And it's something that Singer had internally. We're not really sure what caused them to do. There was some feature somewhere that was changed. One of the other beautiful things about this machine is it has a numbered tension unit. They're originally started out not having numbers, and so
That would be
you have little
hard.
kids. They come and like to turn knobs, push buttons, and pretend to be like mommy.
Yes.
And it can get messed up when the little kids play with it.
Right.
But the number helps you to sit back down and go, okay, I was at a 3. I can see so-and-so has been over here playing.
Yes.
Another feature that you have here is a cupped. There's a little bit of a cup here. This was the original one that Singer produced. And then a beautiful chrome around your hand wheel. Later, they switched to being painted like this one.
Okay.
So this one's a later model. And another unique feature you have here is the chrome stitch length indicator. They later painted them.
Okay.
Because it's just stamped the numbers in there. In the later version, they painted it and have the numbers in chrome. So it's just a little bit of an aesthetic thing that it looks pretty either way. You just have to look a little more closely to read those numbers.
That is neat. So yeah, that took a lot of craftsmanship even just to make that, to etch that into that little piece of aluminum or metal, whatever it is.
Right. Now, you have a few things on here that have been retrofitted that are not original to your Singer sewing machine.
Okay.
This tension unit, the tensioner for your bobbin is not an original.
Okay.
If you look closely, you can see that it almost fits
Oh, I see.
the
Yeah,
original
it's not
space.
lined up.
It's not quite lined up.
Yeah.
And then there's also something on the back here. This is neat. That is not an original motor. At some point, the original motor must have had a difficulty, And so at that time, what was available was this Alpha Sew motor. So every once in a while we find the machine with that.
Do you know, with them being like that, just because I know other people probably have the same curiosity too if they have it, does it cause any kind of difference in the performance of the machine? Does it change the value of the machine?
The value might change.
Yeah.
And of course, value is something that is how much is worth to you, how much is worth to me, how much is it worth to the next person.
Yeah.
So somebody who's looking for something completely vintage, completely original, this would detract.
Yeah.
If you're looking for it because you want it for your personal use and you don't mind, then it's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
And it probably does work just as well.
Okay. Well, that is very, very neat.
You have an original foot controller. It's this fun thing where you have a knob that's stationary, and then you have this button that depresses for actually running your machine.
And like the new machines today, you got to press the whole pedal.
Right.
This, you just press that little knob.
That is correct.
Cool.
And you also have a beautifully intact terminal receptacle for your foot controller to plug into. Frequently, they get broken just from being bumped and bruised, particularly when you're putting it away in the case. Here's an example of where it's broken, just that bottom edge.
I see that.
And it's not going to affect the being able to use it. It's just an aesthetic thing again.
So even though that one looks cleaner and newer, that one's got that bottom piece broken on it. This one that definitely looks well loved and used, that individual
in great shape. Yes.
It's in great shape.
Yes.
It to me, that tells me this got used and it was left sitting out. That kept being put into a
good possibility
box, into the case, I should say.
That's what I would
the
do.
case is well loved on that too.
Yes. Yes, we have a vintage case.
Yes. Can you buy new cases?
You can buy a new case that's a reproduction.
Right.
A Featherweight shop has them, and they'll fit your machine just as well.
Okay. That's all I wanted to know, is if you could, because I know I've seen them like on Facebook Marketplace sometimes, but I just didn't know. But okay.
Yes.
Well, I think that is great, Wendy. Thank you so much for going over my machine with me, or my mom's machine with me, I should say.
You're
So
welcome.
is this what you'll be doing during the Featherweight open house / seminar?
Yes, this is exactly what we'll be doing.
Cool.
I'll be able to look at your machine and let you know the year, as long as we can read the serial number. Every once in a while, the serial number is illegible. We can probably get a pretty good idea of when and where it was produced based on some of the other features, though. So we can do some research and figure that out, too.
Awesome. Thank you, Wendy.
You're welcome.
Thank you guys for joining us.